Alright, so what's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about all of the latest news, leaks and rumours surrounding Call of Duty Vanguard, which is all but confirmed to be Call of Duty 2021, and I'm also going to be talking about my thoughts and opinions on the upcoming game as well. Now we have a lot to talk about with today's video, so if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and with all that out of the way, let's just get right into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is all the official artwork and information that leaked with the Season 5 release update for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone. So in the game files, a bunch of people have found different artwork and different like strings of text and stuff all relating to Call of Duty Vanguard. So the first thing I want to talk about is obviously it confirms the title Call of Duty Vanguard. It's not World War II Vanguard, it's Call of Duty Vanguard, and I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, the actual like artwork for the title Vanguard is in like this red font if I remember correctly, so that's pretty cool. I guess it's not World War II Vanguard, which is just a mouthful, which is cool. Alongside that, the artwork shows off a bunch of like promotional like pre-order bonuses and that kind of stuff. So we see blueprints mainly. Some have trace around, some are Mastercraft blueprints, which is actually really interesting to see that they are launching with this stuff. Usually the games launch with like very grounded and realistic blueprints, and then as the seasons go on they get a lot more wacky and, you know, just not related to the game like timeline at all. But this time around they're launching with that stuff, so I mean that's pretty interesting to see. And the artwork also confirms a November 5th release date, which is just a very bog standard release date. It's around about that, you know, October, November time, which we are used to by now. And other than that, it doesn't really confirm anything else. Other than the fact there is a World War II setting for this game. Once again, we've known this for a long time. It's been leaked for ages. But this sort of like confirms it in our minds that it is a World War II game called Call of Duty Vanguard and is releasing November 5th. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is an in-game teaser from Warzone. Shout out to AJ21 and family on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they're the first in the world to get this clip, but I'm going to play it on screen now. So, as you can see, they get a win on Rebirth Island. I don't know if this is exclusive to Rebirth or not. They start rappelling up the chopper, and then they get sniped by a woman who's in a sort of like Soviet World War II era uniform. And this is a really cool teaser, I'm not going to lie. It doesn't really mean anything, I don't think. Once again, it sort of confirms that World War II setting, because the gun is definitely a World War II era weapon, the outfit is World War II era. That's about all it does, but it's just so cool to see this in game. Like, I can't imagine the hype when they first got the win. They were rappelling up and they just see the guy get sniped, and there's just this female sniper off like in the distance. I think that is so cool. This is one of my favorite teasers of all time. It doesn't really do anything crazy, but it's just the way that it can't take you off guard. And I think this would be really cool to see in game. Now for this next segment, we're going to move over to Twitter and we're going to talk about some different tweets from various people. So the first one is from Tom Henderson. He is a well-known leaker. I would say he's mainly known for Battlefield as opposed to Call of Duty, but he does both. He does pretty much everything about that, and he has a lot to say about World War II Vanguard. He's made a ton of tweets over the past few days. I've only selected out a few because I could sit here and just read through his Twitter profile, yeah, for the whole video, but I've picked out a few select tweets that I think are really important. So I'm going to show all the tweets as I talk about them on screen. Here is the first one. He says the current number of 66 maps scheduled for launch is 16, which is, that just blows my mind. Now, I don't have the exact number of amounts of maps that have launched for each game in my mind, but I know for a fact that the past, like, 4 Call of Duty games have had around about 10 at max. It's been really bad, I'm not gonna lie, and I think Activision have taken note of that. I think it's been since probably World War II, I would say. They've taken note of the fact that these games launch with a real lack of content, and they've put full focus on it. Now, just because there are 16 maps doesn't mean they'll all be good. I mean, 10 of these could be awful, you know what I mean? There might only be 6 playable maps in the game, but the fact that there is this much variety to experience on launch is just such good news in my opinion, because well, it's not even opinion, actually. That's just straight up facts. Because this amount of variety, like I said, hasn't been seen since, what, Infinite Warfare Black Ops 3? Something like that. And it really does hurt the launch of a game. Because you play for a shorter amount of time because there's less to experience. And it just can make you feel burnt out on the game so much quicker. And I love the fact they've actually taken advice from the community and, you know, put full focus on it, which is just great to see. Now, the second tweet from Tom Henderson is talking about Warzone mainly. The next Warzone map will completely replace Verdansk and will take us to World War II. It's scheduled to launch on Call of Duty 2021's release date. The new anti-cheat is coming alongside the launch of the next Warzone map. So Verdansk, by the time this game comes out, is going to be gone. There's no reskin 80s Verdansk like they did with Black Ops Cold War. It is going to be a completely different setting. I'm pretty sure he also talks about it differently. It's going to be a third bigger than Verdansk. So an even bigger map. That's insane. That's ridiculous because Verdansk is already a large-ass map. And obviously the anti-cheat as well. Wow. That they actually listened once again. Apparently this anti-cheat has been in development for about over a year. And like he said here, they're going to release it alongside the next Call of Duty game. It's going to be in the Call of Duty and Warzone, which is just great to hear. It's about time. Raven did tease this quite recently, but it's nice to see. You know, this is obviously a leak, but this is just such promising news. Now, the final tweet is talking about the trailer for Call of Duty Vanguard. I'm not too sure how Tom Henderson has seen the trailer. It might be in the game files or something, but here's what he had to say. The trailer features some firing squad executions and gore. It's like Sledgehammer Games looked at Modern Warfare 2019 and said, oh, you think that's going to make headlines? Now it's our turn. It's probably one of the best looking trailers I've seen from a Call of Duty 2. So this is once again great news. I mean, I think it's really great that by the sounds of it, Sledgehammer Games are taking their advice from World War II and applying it to this game, because the main complaint from a lot of people, including myself, is that World War II wasn't gritty enough and it wasn't realistic enough. Mainly in the campaign. I know the multiplayer isn't supposed to be that realistic, but you can't depict one of the most bloody and violent wars and conflicts rather of all time, probably the most, definitely the most, and you can't, if you can't depict that with some balls, then it's just not going to be an enjoyable experience, I'd say. And I like the fact that they are taking that on, you know, with all the gore and stuff. I'm not someone who, like, you know, gets off the gore or anything, but I just think if you're going to depict World War II, you need to do it with some balls, and you need to be raised in controversy, because people are just very sensitive these days, and you just gotta accept that, really. And also, what he mentions in the second tweet, saying it's probably one of the best looking trailers I've seen from a Call of Duty. I'm not sure what he means by this. I'm not sure if he means, like, in terms of the actual quality of, like, yeah, the graphical fidelity. He means by best looking, or if he means, like, in terms of hype levels and, like, how well made the trailer is. Then I don't know if he means it like that or what. But either way, it's going to be good. I mean, obviously the graphics are going to be the best. Well, they should be the best Call of Duty graphics since, you know, well, ever, because it's the newest Call of Duty game. But I don't know. It's very interesting. It's kind of interesting how he worded it, but take from it what you will. Sticking to Twitter as well, Call of Duty themselves have actually sort of, people have been, you know, joking around saying that they've leaked their own game. You can see this clip here which they released, which is basically just a meme. They just memed, you know, about a bunch of leaks and rumors coming because the Call of Duty game is coming this year. And this might be a clip directly from the World War II trailer, the Vanguard trailer, sorry. We don't know, it might be, it might not be. But yeah, this is very interesting how they're I like how they're sort of jumping on the bandwagon of, like, you know, teasing the game and stuff like that. Now, finally, before we talk about all of my thoughts and opinions on everything Vanguard, I want to talk about the investor call that we had recently from Activision themselves talking about Vanguard. So this is sort of old news, I would say. I think it's a few weeks, maybe a month now, but I haven't talked about this, and obviously this is a sort of like everything Vanguard video, so I thought I'd include this. So I'm going to talk about the three statements that I've collected, and then I'll talk about everything, basically. So what they've said here is, content-wise, it's a really robust game at launch across all modes, and the good news for us right now is we've gotten farther ahead of our live ops planning for supporting the community post-launch, and the community should also expect the support to be very, very significant. We've learned a lot over the last couple of years, and that is all in our plans as we go forward. So once again, they were sort of taking this advice with the lack of content in the games, which is a great, you know, that's probably the main problem I have with Call of Duty lately, is that they launch with a real lack of content, and they have acknowledged that, you know, these games don't have much content on launch. And, you know, they've taken that advice, and hopefully, well, possibly, if that leak is true about having 16 multiplayer maps, That's great. That's honestly just incredible. I hope this goes for the variety in weapons as well. This is a theory I have on Modern Warfare. That game launched with like 40 plus guns, I think. And I think the problem with that game is they spent so much time on the guns and the gunsmith and the amount of guns to have. They didn't have enough modes and maps on launch, so people thought it was very content deprived, which does make a lot of sense, to be honest. But hopefully this game doesn't do that as well, where they can't do the inverse, where they have a bunch of maps, a bunch of modes, and it's really rich with content, but there's like 5 assault rifles, you know, like Cold War, basically. I hope they don't do that. But anyway, on to the second statement. From a setting that our fans know and love to an incredible amount of content in development, including an extensive live ops schedule, we believe this release will be incredibly well received. This is a little controversial in my opinion. I don't really think this is entirely accurate. When they're talking about a setting that we know, I would imagine this is World War II, because there's a lot of World War II games, specifically Call of Duty. But the love part, I don't really know if I'd agree with that, because I've seen a lot of people, including myself, when we first learned it was going to be a World War II game, kind of upset. I'm not going to lie. I think people prefer the modern near future setting for games. And I'm not saying that this game will be bad because it's a World War II game, but I think it just has people a little less excited. And I don't really understand what they're saying when they say our fans love this. They must have noticed that people were upset about this, but it shouldn't hold back the quality of the game, I hope, at least. Now, the final quote from this investor call here. In addition to launching a great seamless experience for both current-gen and next-gen console players, we are focused on continuing to integrate Warzone and engaging our direct relationship with our player base through even deeper content integration between the premium and free experiences and substantial innovation coming within Warzone itself. So this might mean that we get a next-gen version of Warzone. That would be great, because then we might get an FOV slider finally. But this is sort of a, I would say, generic quote. They're talking about, you know, just making the experience a lot better. And I think when they talk about the seamless experience, I think they're mainly talking about the Cold War integration, but how messy that was. It was just so bad. Not only were there a ton of bugs, the weapons were wildly unbalanced. They didn't launch the map of it until, like, you know, 6 months after the game had launched. It was all just a huge mess, in my opinion, with Warzone, and I think they've learned that. And they've been hard at work, you know, basically working towards fixing that, which I think is great. And hopefully, as soon as Vanguard launches and, you know, the integration happens, which is going to happen at launch by the sounds of it, it makes it a lot more, like they say, a seamless transition. And it's just a lot more bearable, I suppose. So that is everything to do with Call of Duty Vanguard that we know. Now, obviously, there is no official reveal. None of this is official, apart from the investor call stuff, obviously. So take all of this with a grain of salt, because it is just leaks and rumors. But you know, across all of this news, I've gone from not caring about the game at all to being incredibly excited about it, because it's just everything that we've wanted from Call of Duty to do, apart from the setting, they seem to be doing here. Like, you know, we've got an anti-cheat coming for Warzone. They're going to be, you know, making sure the transition for Warzone is seamless. They're going to be launching the game with a bunch of content, and I feel like they're just a lot more community-driven, specifically Sledgehammer, because if you guys remember with World War II, they basically changed how their game fundamentally worked because the community didn't like it. I don't think Treyarch or Infinity Ward have ever done that, ever. If you remember in Modern Warfare, this is probably the best example of this. We weren't supposed to be getting a minimap at all in standard core modes for Modern Warfare, but they compromised and gave us the minimap, but they didn't make it normal. So, you know, whenever you shoot an unsuppressed weapon, it doesn't come up on the minimap. And even though tons of people, I think literally everyone hated this change, they never changed it. They just left it how it is. Whereas with Sledgehammer and World War II, like I said, the whole Divisions thing, I'm not a massive expert on World War II. It's not my favorite Call of Duty game. But I do know that they literally, you know, they fundamentally changed how the game worked for the fans, which I think is just great. And I think Sledgehammer are really good at listening to the community. So I think I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this game now, I won't lie. I'm not the hugest fan of a World War II setting. I've said this before. But I won't let that take away from how good the game can be. I do think modern and near future settings are better, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad game. I mean, I do still think some things from the past are really cool, like, say, for weapons, the STG-44, the MP40, the Sten. These are all cool weapons, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them in this game, and hopefully, as well, this game is in the Modern Warfare engine, because if it is, that could make this game, like, 10 times better than it could be. So, yeah, all in all, I'm really looking forward to this game. It might get revealed while I'm away, and if it does, when I get back, I will be, you know, reviewing all the stuff that we got, basically. If it doesn't, then I'll be making a video as soon as it comes out. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching this very long video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you are new around here. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.